All right, what's going on, everybody? Today, we're going to be going through substations, what they are, what they do, and why they're so important to data centers in the data center development space. So if you guys are new here and you don't know who I am, I'm Ryan Ogren. I'm a private equity investor in the data center and energy infrastructure space. Literally like 3 or 4 years ago, I had no idea what a substation was or a transformer or anything that I'm about to go through. So I had to learn this industry from the ground up. And I'm making these videos because, one, we like deal flow. It's my hope that you guys get value from these videos and then you want us to come into your project or take a look at your site. And if that's the case, fill out the link below and you'll be able to actually comment and say and contact us, and we'll be able to get on a call and discuss your site or your project and see if we can help. Or number two, we have a massive staffing shortage coming our way. I'm 28 years old as of recording this video. I know I look a little bit older, but there's not a lot of 28-year-olds in this space. And so we're going to be coming across a massive staffing shortage. Most of the guys that are and gals that are building these infrastructure aren't even going to be around in about 10, 20, 30 years. You guys are all going to be retired, or hopefully you're retired by then. So it's going to be managed by folks that are in my generation and my age. So we got to get more people into this particular industry. And so it's my hope that with these videos, I can slowly and surely start educating, generating more subscribers that want to get into this space. So that's why I'm making these videos. So if that aligns with you, like the video, leave a comment, and also subscribe because I got a ton of videos on the way. So substations, what are they and why are they the bottleneck in data center development? They're one of them, right? Here's me in front of a data center. You can see, now you guys can see my cursor. So there's me. I was out on a walk, so I had my hat on so I don't burn my bald head. And this is just a selfie in front of a small substation, a very old one. And so this is just another picture of it. So pretty much what a substation, it's the hub of the grid. So substations are critical infrastructure. They convert high voltage to low voltage. They can also connect transmission lines to distribution systems. They also enable power delivery from generation to end users. They also provide switching, protection, and redundancy to all powers. Okay, so there's three types of substations. There's transmission, distribution, and collector. Transmission substations is pretty much, they're near power plants, and pretty much what they're supposed to do, they take power generation voltages, and they pretty much package them up and step down from the actual power generation voltage so they can actually transport the power long distance. And usually it's going to be to like 500 kV, but it can change. It could be 230 or 345. So it's not an end of the world. It's pretty basic stuff. They're usually near power plants, and it's pretty much just packaging up the power, take it long distance. Distribution is, these are the substations that are near end users for local delivery. So it takes the power from these long distance high voltage lines and then like steps down the actual power so the end user can actually use the power, because it's otherwise in a voltage that the power can't be used for. So it's local delivery. It's most common for data centers to use these distribution substations on site. But then you have a collector. So this is various voltages. Wind and solar farms, they have a ton of power coming from a ton of different areas. This is just a substation that collects all that power into one spot, and it steps up the voltage. Pretty much not relevant for data centers. Realistically, what you're going to see with these major hyperscale data centers, you're going to see a distribution substation jump on site. Okay, these data centers typically need distribution substations. These step down transmission voltage to distribution voltage. That's pretty much what happens. Okay, key components. I'm not going to go through all of these. There's somebody out there that will, or you can just ask ChatGPT. There's a ton of different components to these substations, and a lot of these are long lead time equipment. Okay, so transformers, especially in certain specific areas, transmission operators have specific transformers that they require from a specific manufacturer that's approved. So there's a lot of Chinese manufacturers that are not approved in certain transmission operator areas, so we can't use them in those substations that we're actually building. And it's a national security risk. There's like a bunch of documentation around this. There was an issue where a transformer was installed from China, and it had something in it, and it really freaked out the U.S. government. The transmission operators, or the U.S. government, banned it for a little bit, and then they revoked it as far as a policy. But then a lot of transmission operators kept their approved list that they already developed. So just check with your transmission operator. They'll give you an approved manufacturer list on these transformers. Otherwise, you don't want to bring a transformer, then they reject it, right? So transformers, these step down the voltage. They're usually 50 to 100 plus tons. It's bananas. And there's like a 2 to 3 year lead time on these puppies right now. So that's long lead time. Circuit breakers are also long lead time. The breakers are very long lead time, actually. But they interrupt faults, protect equipment, and critical safety. And then bus bars are okay. Disconnect switches, protection systems, these are all fine. But those are pretty interesting, right? And why data centers need these substations? They need massive power. So if you think about where massive power is coming from, usually it's in that It's usually in the 230 to 345, 500 kV volt lines. Those are like usually where the massive power is coming from, but also is traveling in. And so to tap into those lines, you're going to need a substation that can actually step down from 115 kV plus and up to actual usable voltages that they can actually use that power, because you can't just use the crazy amount of power. I don't know what happens if you have a 500 kV line just like going into your building. Maybe it explodes. I have no idea. But these data centers need the substations, and usually they're going to be on site because they're interconnecting to those big voltage lines in some way, shape, or form. So that's typically what happens. The reliability and redundancy factor, where they need these 99.999% uptime, also is interesting because the substation is stepping down all that power and also plays a role into that. And then if you own the substation, you do get faster delivery, obviously, than if you are sharing a substation with somebody else. But a misconception is that substations actually hold power and there's capacity at a substation. There's not. Usually these substations are just stepping up or stepping down the power. They're not holding actual power generation, nor do they have batteries that are saving the power generation. Substations are required. They're a necessary evil. And the bottleneck here is very long. And this is pretty much the issue, because not only do you need to go get your utility interconnection approved, you also need to then develop and construct the substation, which just takes forever. And there's been some thought on distance to substations and proximity to substations. But in my experience, it's when you go big on these hyperscale sites, this has never affected us. So proximity to substations, I would say it's better to have a close substation, but at the same time, it's almost better to not have a substation close by, because then you can just go ahead and build one, and the utility obviously might want to do that. So this slide's kind of irrelevant. But key takeaways, substations are pretty much used to step up or step down the power, right? So think about it like that. They package it up so it can be transported, or they take it and unpackage it so it can be used. That's pretty much it. So that's what a substation is, and the long lead time pieces of equipment, transformers and breakers within those substations. Those are like the big ones. And now you guys are up to speed on what a data center or what a substation is and how it's used in data centers and where the bottlenecks are within that. Okay? So if you guys have any questions, leave a comment. And if you like this, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you turn the notification bell on so you can get notified when we have more videos coming out. And yeah, if you want to contact us about your project, make sure you click the link and fill out the form, and you'll be able to connect with us directly, and we'll get on a call and we'll discuss further. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Ryan Ogren, subscribe. See ya.